to be here.
I'm glad we all here. So, introduce to the people our special guest with us here tonight. Goes by the name of Jay Fields. I ain't gonna give him your government. Jay Fields, all you need to know for now. He's the man, the architect, the creator, the designer of King of Fresh. Yep. But let me not spoil it. Go ahead and tell him about yourself, Jay.
Jay Fields started King of Fresh a couple years ago. Picked up a lot of traction. Been doing a lot of great things, not only for ourselves but for the city. Trying to let people know, man, we bigger than just cowboy boots and country hats.
Right. Most definitely.
Yeah. So yeah, man, just trying to shed some light on just the culture here in the city, man, and pretty much what we about. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do, man, and it's just not limited to King of Fresh. I kind of put my hands in anything I'm interested in, whether it's events, music, sports. I try to uplift everything going on in the city, man. So
well versed.
yeah, well versed. Yeah.
Tell me your background, like where you from.
So I'm from Nashville.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Okay.
It's a lot of people that's moving to Nashville. Like I'm from Nashville.
Exactly.
Went to school here. Went to middle school here at East Lit.
Shout out East Lit.
Yeah. Shout out to East Lit. Shout out East.
Didn't they change that from East Lit?
I think it's like East Nashville.
Bro, it's East Lit, bro.
It's still East Lit.
He like, nah, it's the same thing.
Native Nashvilleian.
It's still East Lit.
Oh yeah, that's always.
Yeah, it's still East Lit.
Agreed.
To the transplants is East Nashville.
I went to Good Pasture for a little bit.
Shout out Good Pasture.
But tell them where you finished.
You know what I'm saying? I finished from
academic
good old
career.
Weiss Creek. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Once a Cobra. Yeah, I'm saying once a Cobra, always a Cobra, man. North Nashville.
Yeah.
Red Cups up for that.
Bordeaux.
Red Cups up for
You know what I'm saying?
Out
Yeah, man, that's where I'm from.
Sure. So, with King of Fresh, how did this come about? Because we all rock the gear. We know the movement.
So
What inspired it? Where did it come from?
So King of Fresh came from a place of like it was like a void, and I feel like a lot of times with business, that's where greatness happens is where there's a void. You know what I'm saying? That's why the iPhone was so successful. Like it brought so many things to us that just wasn't like FaceTime. Like that wasn't a thing, and they made that a thing. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna recruit Pat. We're gonna recruit Pat. We're recruiting Pat to team iPhone after today. But yeah,
I don't know if he can be
like in high
recruited.
school.
He is like solid about that Android.
In high school, we had uniforms, so it wasn't strict. But we had to wear a collar shirt. We had to wear khakis, and at the time, like Kanye was like one of the hottest dudes, and with the pink polo, and so we was wearing polo, and so when I graduated from high school, I was like, man, I don't really want to wear what I was wearing to school. Like now I have the freedom. Yeah, I got hella polos, but like now that I had the freedom to kind of wear what I want to wear, I got into streetwear. So Bait, BBC, 10 Deep, all those type of brands, and it was cool, but like it didn't necessarily represent what I wanted to represent. And so, I was like, man, I need to create something for us. I need to create something that we're prideful in, and we just had a lot of success, like extremely early. We made a lot of money extremely early, and it just turned into a movement that kind of like took care of itself, Yeah, and not necessarily from like a cash perspective, because like when sales were down and we weren't doing that great financially, we were doing great marketing wise, and you had those you had an evidence, whether it's this person wearing it, like for instance when LeBron wore King of Fresh, like
that was big. I remember.
We didn't
was that after the first or the second championship?
That was the first championship. Yeah, we the reason why Nike got the championship pack.
I'll take that.
And so like within the first year we had so much happen. Like I said, when LeBron wore it, like we didn't have no inventory, we didn't have no product. In hindsight, we should have been able to sell that piece that LeBron wore. But that was just evidence that we had something good. And a lot of times you sow seeds and they sprout on their own time. You know what I'm saying? You might be like, man, we sent Bron the gear a year before he wore it. Like we sent him the gear right when he had lost to the Mavericks.
That was the gray Martin Luther King tee, correct?
Yeah, but we had taken my towns to South Beach.
I remember those.
And so like
Jasmine bought one of them.
Yeah. So Big Sean wore the 2 fake tees. So we was on the right. We was like, man, we got to get LeBron to wear the South Beach tee because that was inspired by him. And so, we sent that to him. We also sent the MLK tee. We also sent some classic tees. But it was a whole year later when he actually wore the shirt after he won the championship. And I think it was a little bit better because, at that time period, like, people forget, like, before Bron won, it was like, oh, he ain't got no rings, though. Like, that was the biggest thing. So it's just like, oh, you got LeBron in your shit, but he ain't got no rings. It's like, timing is everything. Like, he was on top of the world. They won. He was a king, and so like it was proper timing, and that's kind of like we also we like to send messages when we send gift packs. We try to send messages, and we pretty much told them like what King of Fresh stands for. With the broken heart, it means like remain fresh. So it's like you just took an L, but put that crown on. Persevere, push through. We explained the whole concept of taking my talents to South Beach. Taking your dreams. Wherever you need to take them to be successful. So, like, anything we create has some type of, meaning behind it, some type of message. And so, I guess he kind of was, like, really rocking with the message. And, he waited for the proper time to wear it, man. And, that kind of, coming from Nashville, coming from Bordeaux, North Nashville, how many people can say they created a product and got it on LeBron? Better yet, any athlete at that level.
Right.
Nobody.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was a really big look, man. Who are some other? I guess you would say celebrities or high-profile people besides LeBron and Big Sean that have
some of these celebrities, man.
Yeah, because you had an OG in the rap game wear a piece.
So
video.
Jeezy, Jeezy.
Yeah.
Snowman
So Jeezy has worn every item we've given him, which is like.
Shout out Young Jeezy.
Yeah, shout out
Jeezy.
He gonna be here tomorrow.
Pastor,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Jeezy.
Pastor, yeah.
Which is kind of dope because like when you gift merchandise, people sometimes they don't understand like the power they have. You know what I'm saying? To just help somebody in the sense, because pretty much that's what it is. Yeah, you might rock with the gear because it's fresh, but you helping somebody within their business. So Jeezy's worn every single thing that we've given him.
That's dope. That's really dope.
That's really big.
Yeah, Currency. Currency did a show in Nashville. I brought him a tee. He wore it like the next day.
Oh, that's dope.
It's an artist out of Atlanta named Nick Grant. Hip hop guy, man, super fresh, super real. I met him at Made in America in Philly. We talked for about 15 minutes, man. He was like, man, I'm about to go on tour with Lauryn Hill and Nas.
So that's a big look.
Yeah, he was like, man, I want to wear all independent gear, man. So get it to me.
That's really
and so I sent it to him. In the first tour date, he wore it. You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the type of stuff that like I respect. Because you can build relationships with a lot of these people, and you get them gear, and they look at their status, and they look at it like, well, I ain't about to make him rich, and it's just like that's kind of like that's a negative mindset to have.
I'm not gonna put my name
it's
behind
fresh,
your brand,
and I'm not even trying to like brag. Like it has a good message and it's fresh. So when you do that, like you being stubborn in a sense, and so there's people out here like at that level. Like Jeezy is an OG. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up listening to Trap or Die. I wasn't trapping, but I was hooping. So when I hear Trap or Die, I'm like hoop or die. Like I got to get it in the gym. I got to get it in. So it's like to see somebody that you grew up, listening to, like messing with your brand as much as you mess with their brand.
Inspiring.
That's inspiring.
Yeah.
And lets you know that you on the right track.
Very
Ray Schremer, Bow Wow Award on 106 in Park. Rest in peace, 106 in Park. I called it right. I think I called it like 2 weeks before Karuchi said what she said. Like I caught it right before 106 in Park went out the air. Draymond Green on ESPN.
Yeah.
And of course, like
Draymond has been rocking a couple pieces.
Yeah. And of course, anybody that come out of Nashville, whether it's college or high school, like Ian Clark, Benny, Mookie, all those guys show love, man. So we blessed to have like a diverse amount of, I guess you could say, celebrities wearing it. But like I did an interview like December, I want to say, and one of my biggest sentiments was, like people see Big Sean wearing it, but they don't see his DJ wearing it or his producer that's the same age as me, 26, and who produced 13 out of 14 tracks on I Decided and produced half the tracks on Janae Equal album. And this dude, 26 years old, or his creative director who's 26, who's done the staging for Drake, Future, all these different talented people. And I kind of admire that just as much in the sense because, like, everybody's not going to be an athlete, everybody's not going to be an entertainer, but there's people behind the scenes that's making these people look as good, just like Juice. Draymond's personal assistant.
All in One Sports, kudos.
Yeah, shout out to All in One. Juice, he was in All-Star Weekend repping King of Fresh Heavy, red carpets, you know what I'm saying, different events. And I think that brings value because those are good
most
people.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And they're elevated in their their career and what they're doing, and they're respected in their own way. Yeah. Just like a Draymond is respected, but people don't see who's putting the events on for Draymond or making sure that his stuff is together and in order.
Exactly.
And so we've been blessed to have celebrities, people that work with celebrities, but man, just everyday people. Yeah. And that's where I win. Is just like I don't necessarily focus on a celebrity. Like I gotta have a relationship with you to try to get you in gear. Right. Because at the end of the day, we paid for that gear, right? And that's product that we spent money on, and so it's
time
like,
on
and so it's like I don't just give anybody gear. Like you got to represent what we stand for. You got to have some type of style. Like I feel like I'm for the people. Like I'm a common dude. Like I don't do anything that's like extra. I still show love to the people that show love to me from day one. And I think that's where I win. Is just your common person wears King of Fresh and they buy it. Like that's the power in it. It's like I have common people that I grew up with or that have known me from since I was young that buy the gear. Right. And I think I don't think people buy it because Jeezy Ward or Big Sean Ward or LeBron Ward, like that kind of like that's cool and all, but like if you go to a basketball game, you're going to see somebody in there with King of Fresh on. Right. You know what I'm saying? TSU homecoming, you're going to see it multiple times. Yeah, and so it's kind of like people going to see like, oh, like the streets messing with them. And I don't mean like the hood, just like the people in general is messing with them. So.
And that's the biggest thing is when you have a large mass of people, when you can pinpoint out exactly what that product is. Yeah. Because, I mean, let's just face it. To some extent, we all are label whores to some extent. Maybe not a really big extent, but to some extent, because we recognize what stuff is. If you see a guy with some icy whites on, he got forces on. You might not know nothing about fashion, but if you see a dude with some icy whites on, he has forces on. That sticks in your brain. You see I see KOF now, only King of Fresh.
I ain't no other option.
My mind goes nowhere else.
To label it.
He said it's a name brand.
I stand by it.
Yeah, and once you get to that point to where, like you said, the common person recognizes everything about it, and then the common person starts looking like, yo, I'm starting to see more and more.
Yeah. And then they gravitate towards it. They gravitate towards it.
Yeah.
One for mama.
Yeah, they get with the program.
And might I also add that the Easter colorways, as I call them, the pastel. I need.
Let me ask you about that. What brought that on? Because we used to the darks. I'm all about black. Black.
I like black too, but I get into my colors
so like
too.
People, I don't know if people know this. Like, let me see, it's 2018. So we did that was 2017. Probably from about 2012 to 2016. Like the majority of everything I did was like black.
It was black and white.
Because like I'm like, man, I got on all black today. Like I love wearing black.
3 out of 4.
And I think somebody like,
wait a minute, you ain't gonna call me 3 out of 4.
I think somebody was like, man, are you depressed? I was like,
No.
What do you mean? Like, what do you mean?
Black
They was like,
black is like everything.
they was like, man, all the stuff you make is black, man. If you make some colors, it's gonna pop. I'm like, all right.
Really did, bro.
And so we were at Kung Fu. And I'm honest. My boy J. Ralph was like, bruh, man, you should do some crazy colors, bruh. It's about to be springtime, spring, summer, man. We should do some crazy colors. I was like, all right, well, what colors you think? And so it was about 7 of us, and they all kind of like voted on some colors. And they was like, but don't just do yellow, man. Do like a pastel. Like, don't just do pink. And so we were thinking, and like if I was to do it now, I would do this design with the King of Fresh, but I was so in love with like the Old English, the KOF, the simplicity, being able to wear it with layers. You can still see it in the chest, and so we picked our 3 colors, and I ran them, and around that time, Rooted at first opened, and we had just did a pop-up shop there that was like extremely successful.
Shout out Rooted.
Yeah, shout out Rooted.
Shout out
Most
Rooted.
definitely shout out Rooted.
Shout out Rooted.
Shout out to Stay Rooted. You know what I'm saying, on Instagram. I got so much love for them. But the crazy thing about it is, being from Nashville, everybody's taking that field trip to Purity. The dairy company.
The dairy factory.
And so, like, they have some of the best ice cream, and they have some good ass sherbet ice cream, and so, like, a lot of people say the pastel or the spring. I call it the sherbet. I call it the sherbet batch because that's the lime, the orange, and the raspberry, like the way it looks. And so we did a pop-up shop, and we gave away free sherbet ice cream,
Goes good. I mean,
and it popped like. You know, and that's the thing, like with streetwear, people want a story. People want something that's just more than just buying a product. Like, people would be like, man, I got this shirt, man, Phil's was serving ice cream himself. Like, I was scooping it. Me and my guy Alexander was scooping, we was bringing it out. And, you know, we sold out of those quickly. Real quick, man. So that's kind of how that came up, was just kind of trying something different.
Yeah, the Thelma Harper Easter egg hunt collection. Yeah, if you're from out north, you know who Thelma Harper is.
He plays too much. Red cups up for Thelma.
She about to put that seat down and Hall and them running for the next spot. But shout out Harper and all.
I'm done with him today.
Yeah, man. So let's see. What would you say would be the biggest thing that you've learned by running your own company, more so particularly in the fashion industry?
Just fashion or just business in general?
Let's do part A, fashion, and part B, business in general.
Fashion, you create your own cool. You know, you don't have to keep up with trends. You don't have to keep up with everybody else's timeline. For instance, it is March. It just snowed here yesterday. But everybody is selling spring, summer. They're selling swim trunks. And Nashville shops in season. And, you know, people have been selling spring, summer since, like, January, February. So,
yeah, as soon as New Year was out.
Yeah, so I'm trying to sell, you know, short sleeve shirts. And people like, nigga, it's cold, man. Where the hoodies? And I'm like, I feel you, you know what I'm saying? But it's about to be hot real soon, man. Just trust me, man. And so... you know, you create your own timeline, you create your own cool, and like, don't try to keep up with what everybody else is doing. Like, I remember we missed the jogger wave, you know, and I think that was a great thing because everybody that did the joggers kind of like, not necessarily fell off, but they went with that crowd that was doing joggers, you know, and that's the thing about fast fashion. When you try to keep up with fast fashion, you can fall off because people look at what you're providing. Like, what is it that you do? What is it that you're unique to? So if you're doing what everybody else is doing, then you're no longer unique. So it's like, once I'm off joggers and I'm looking for the next thing, I no longer need you.
Exactly.
And so you create your own cool, you create your own trends, you create your own timeline. That was the biggest thing is fashion. It's just like, don't rush it. Make sure you perfect it. And in a sense, it's kind of like putting out an album. It's kind of like making music in a sense. Like, you don't just drop an album because everybody's dropped an album and it's your turn. Like, you drop that album when it's ready, when it's perfected, and when you're confident and you can. Because there's nothing worse than trying to sell a product that you don't wholeheartedly believe in.
Bingo.
There's nothing worse than that, you know, because you're not gonna sell it with the passion that you would something that you believe in. So that was the biggest thing I learned, you know, with fashion. As far as business goes, one of the biggest lessons is setting goals. And one thing I've been blessed with is, I don't want to say this without sounding crazy, is I've accomplished all my goals as far as business goes. And I found my business being stagnant when we don't have goals. You know,
it's like that structure too.
Yeah, and it's something. It's like a chase. It's like the thrill. You gotta have something to chase. And so, like recently, like, you know, I'm like, man, I'm gonna try to sell 300 units in one day, and go after that. Now, my goal may be 100, but you know, I always think of stuff as like overly challenge yourself because you never know what you may accomplish. Like, you might have somebody that might buy 10 units. You know what I'm saying? That's 10% of your original goal. So it's just like challenge yourself on a daily basis. It's like, if we did this last week, how can we do better than last week? Because we made new connections, we made new relationships. You know, we've learned, we've learned what works. So how can we build on that and be better than we were last year? And so that's one of the biggest things is you must have goals. Like, if you don't have goals, you won't be successful.
Exactly.
Yeah. Very,
I agree.
wise words.
I agree. Free game.
Free game.
Free game.
Super free game.
But they won't, like, they really won't understand that.
No,
because it's not just in business, it's in life.
Yeah.
Life in general.
Exactly.
You know, you must have, you know, I've been reading so many books, like Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. That's pretty much the entire idea of that book. Like, anything that you think, you can manifest, if you create goals.
Exactly.
But the thing is, I'm not going to say people don't think. People do think.
They just don't go for it, or they don't believe that they can.
Right, and sometimes they do believe, but they don't know how to transition faith to manifestation.
Exactly.
And that's something I've been working with myself in a sense of like, right. I'm sounding like I'm preaching in here. That's one thing I've been working on within myself is like transitioning faith into manifestation. Because, you know, when you say, man, I want to get LeBron in some gear, and that happens, and you say, I want to do this, and it happens, then it's like, all right, maybe I'm not dreaming big enough.
Exactly.
Right. Like I said last week, y'all remember what I said last week? I said once you start achieving your goals, your maximum goals, then you start to become your minimum.
Set more.
The things that you initially set out to do, now that's your bottom line.
Right.
That's the absolute minimum. So you got LeBron in it now. A lot of people were looking at it. So how can King of Fresh potentially partner with the NBA and maybe bring King of Fresh on to be some sort of creative director or some sort of creatives in team gear, team apparels and warm-ups.
And the crazy thing about it is like the NBA is moving towards that. Like
everybody
has a logo. Everybody has a logo on a jersey.
Absolutely.
You know, and so that's possible.
And
Now, why did it not happen? Because there wasn't a goal.
Wasn't a goal in this.
You know what I'm saying? If I had the goal of like, man, we need that logo on that Lakers jersey. You know, how can I make that happen? Then it's about finding the funds to make that happen. Because if you got your logo on an NBA jersey, that's marketing. You getting sales.
Exactly.
You know, you're gonna see that return. It's 82 games. You're gonna see that. You know.
Absolutely. And I think that the direction that you are taking the company in is very inspiring, not only to other creatives in the city that do fashion or people that do music or people that do art, but even just for the everyday working individual. You know what I'm saying? You know, somebody may have a certain goal or benchmark that they need to hit every day, and then seeing a young brother like yourself hitting your goals and benchmarks, they may look up to you and say, yo, like, maybe I need to go a little bit harder.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe I need to press on a little bit. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's very dope what you and the rest of the King of Fresh crew have going on. Very dope. And, you know, I've been rocking with you literally since day one.
Yeah, before King of Fresh.
Before King of Fresh. What was that, Christmas Eve 2011 or something like that? When we came, me and Jasmine swung by the crib.
Yeah.
And you had everything wrote out on the notepad.
You know, and that's another, like, that's one of the craziest things is, like, when people tell me that, like you, my cousin Greg, GT Lambo, he's a photographer. He tells me this all the time. He's like, cuz, man, I remember when we was in summer school at Nashville State, man, you had the notebooks with the drawings, and the drawings was trash, man. That was trash. Because I'm not no drawer, but I had a vision.
Exactly.
And, man, I wrote it down, man. And with technology, a lot of times we don't write stuff down.
Right.
I told somebody, I was like, man, I think 20, 30 years from now, like, being able to write is going to be a skill.
It will be.
Because when they implement technology in the schools and everybody has laptops and all these different things, everybody's just going to be able to type, but nobody's necessarily going to be able to write. You know?
Yeah, they don't. They don't.
Calligraphy is going to be a big money maker in 20 years. If you got some good calligraphy, you can make a hella killing off of that. Yeah, man.
Because people are getting lazy due to technology.
And one thing I can say is it's good to have good people around because, like, during them stages, man, I don't recall anybody ever being like, you want to do what? Man, that's crazy. That's insane. Like, because, like, now it's, and I hate to be this guy. Now it's popular to have a clothing line. Like, when I started King of Fresh, that was not something that people wanted to do. It's like, you want to do what? Nobody was really doing clothing lines. Nashville, nobody was doing a brand, you know, and so nobody ever was just like, man, that's too far fetched. That's unbelievable. Like, I had people around that's like, that's what you want to do?
That's right.
I bet, you know.
Let me know what I can do to help. Yeah.
Like, tell me that. Okay. Yeah, well, there you go.
And I think that was, a big selling point was just like how we were able to execute business so early. Mm-hmm. Like, we had our first pop-up shop like a month after we launched. Mm-hmm. Before that pop-up shop, we had Big Sean wearing our clothes at Municipal. Man, that's God. I can't let you know any other route, that made that happen. Like, I tell people all the time that start brands, I give them the same advice that, I was given and things that have worked for me. And
that clothes.
Yeah, hit the middle one, not the clothes. Yeah, the low battery thing. Yeah. Oh, look, little finger rusty.
Boy.
Finger rusty.
That might be your phone.
My phone screen.
Big thumb.
You gotta stop. You play too much.
But
That phone had the industrial screen protector.
That government issue.
Okay, wait a minute. What were you saying? Because they on my phone a little too hard.
When I comes up for the government issue screen.
Nothing get through that.
But yeah, I give people advice all the time, and like some of the successes we had like early, like within the first year, we had Wale tap one of our designs on his arm. Miguel wore the brand. Big Sean wore the brand at a concert in Nashville, selling in the Gulch before the Gulch was the Gulch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Any local artist from Buck to the lowest guy wearing the brand, doing pop-up shops on college campuses, to LeBron wearing it all within the first year. We made so many moves that were free. You know what I'm saying? Moves that people pay for. I've never in my life paid anybody to wear King of Fresh. I may have paid for shipping to get it to you, but I've never paid someone to wear it.
And that's kind of hard to do because nowadays everybody's like,
everybody has
they have an agenda too, but they don't see opportunity if it doesn't have like a price tag behind it. If you understand what I'm saying, like they're like, oh, okay, I'm not gonna take the opportunity to wear this gear because they're not offering me a check. You know what I mean? Like people think like that. Oh, how is this benefiting me?
You know what I mean? You gotta stay away from those people.
Yeah.
I literally saw that today on somebody's timeline. It was like, yeah, we people that ask for help and then that equals basically they don't have no money to pay. I was like, what type of shit is that?
I mean, I feel like if somebody send me some clothing, some free clothing, they're not
rock
asking for help. I have people that send me clothing all the time. I'm not looking at it like, oh, they're asking me for help. Now, they do want me to wear it. They do want me to post it on my Instagram, I'm sure. But they're not asking me for help. They spend money and send me clothing.
Yeah.
Folks, man,
like, that costs,
They went out of their way to do that, to make that happen.
Or they believed in my brand that much that they wanted me and their brand to align. I feel like that's a respect thing, like, because they could have sent it to anybody, And I don't really post a lot on my social media. I don't take iPhone pictures. Like, all my pictures are like my homie that does photography, or this person that does photography. They capture this look fresh. Boom, I throw that on the gram. So it just has to be the right timing. But I feel like whenever somebody has a dream or a brand and they want to send it to you, just like music. Like, I have artists that send me music or give me one of their CDs for free. I'm not looking at it like, oh, he need me. I'm like, oh, I'm glad you respected me enough to let me listen to it first, or give me a hard copy.
I look at it like they're trusting you with their brand as well.
Yeah, and they want, and even if they do want me to be a vessel or echo, it's like, who am I to be like? Who am I to be like? Nah, I'm too good for that. And if the project sucks or the product is not good, you need to be, or if it just might not be good, you need to be transparent and tell them like, I wouldn't wear that because it has 666 on it. I want to be the person where it's just like, if you deal with me, I'm always gonna be honest.
And that's the
dealing with somebody today. She has a cheesecake little spot out in Brentwood. And we use like the same packaging. Like, I'm getting new shipping boxes for King of Fresh. Look out for that. So if you order online in the fall,
look out for the new boxes.
Shipping boxes is gonna be on point. But we use the same packaging company, and so I had a conversation with her because I go in there and get cheesecake sometimes whenever I get a haircut, and she brought some samples up. She was like, "Hey, this is a new recipe I got. Got brown sugar, cinnamon, tofu, boom boom. Let me know what y'all."
Okay, for the vegan.
I'm like, all right, cool. Was it tofu? No, it might not have been. Was it tofu?
Bro, with this day and age, bro, it sounds
Anyway,
like it could be a thing, bro.
Yeah.
Toffee. I'm tripping.
Toffee.
I'm tripping.
Oh, that'd be fun. They got
That was toffee. So it had the toffee on the top. So I tried it. She came back. What y'all think? I'm like, man, I love everything except this topping. Like this toffee topping. And I don't want to say she was offended, but my barber and the other guy was like, "Nah, that's fine. I wouldn't change nothing." I was like, because she said she had topping. It's a cheesecake spot, so she had the toffee within the cream filling. So I said, if you already have it in the cream filling, I wouldn't add it to the top. Yeah. I would just, because everything, I just gave my opinion. And she may not have been necessarily happy with what I said, but I would not have.
She said, "Let me know what y'all think."
Yeah,
so if you
wouldn't
know what I think, don't ask.
I wouldn't have felt right being like, "Oh, this is popping, man. This is the best cheesecake I've had."
Right.
Yeah.
Knowing good and well,
I don't like that.
I don't like the topping.
You gotta slide out the cheesecake factory
Either
soon as
way,
you get
I
up
don't
out
like
the chain
this
anyway.
So yeah, that's just how I am, man, and that takes maturity to just be honest.
And you'll go a lot
Exactly.
further.
Being
And people
honest.
will trust your opinion.
They will
Exactly.
People will come to you more. Like I've
Because
had
you're
people,
not a yes man.
Yeah, I've had people I
Especially,
fell out with that come to me now and we close. It's just because like I was honest with you and told you like that song is not good.
Especially if it winds up paying off for them in the long run. They'll come back to you.
Speaking of the songs, what are you listening to right now, music-wise?
Nipsey Hussle.
Yay, okay.
Hey,
Victory
that
lap.
nip slap.
Exactly.
I see my dog Jamal just logged in. Jamal Malone.
What's
Shout
up?
out to
What's
you.
good? What's good?
That's all he slaps.
Nipsey Hussle.
Between that, well, he's
Oh, I'm about to
Hit
close
the
it.
middle one. Hit the low.
Yeah, you can
low
go
power
lower mode.
Low
Yeah,
power
whatever
mode.
that means.
It means just it's gonna reserve your battery last longer.
I like that Keys to the City too.
Apple Tech.
Man, you
Don't
ain't got
start
every
with
song.
me, okay?
This first one I just repeat.
You gotta
Double
get
up.
that. You gotta get the
Which one you rocking with? Double up.
what's the one with Goody?
The Keys to the
Almost
City.
forgot what I was doing.
Hey,
With Buddy?
Your Buddy, that's his
Yeah.
name, Buddy. Yeah.
Status Symbol 3, Hustle and Motivate. You gotta get both of them.
Bro, I ain't
You
gonna-
really gotta get the whole project.
I ain't gonna lie, bro.
I like Loaded Bass.
One of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song on that album, might be Young Niggas, bro. With Diddy,
Puff.
bro.
For real.
Cause I like hearing Puff
It's a
in the
different
background,
vibe,
like Coach and Moan.
He was
But
like
it's
he wasn't as vocal
But
as he
that's why I
usually
said
is
it's
either
like a
though.
But and I think that
I
he
kind of
did.
like Dedication with Kendrick.
I like that because
For sure.
Puff he's an OG in the game, and if you listen to what he's saying and like the way he's saying it, I think it goes good with the name of the song. These young niggas. So real hip hop heads know Nip been around for a long time.
Right.
Forever.
This is his.
And the day.
I'm gonna say first mainstream
Mainstream.
album, and so he is the new young nigga on the scene. But listening to Puff ad-lib in the background, if you listen to it really, really deep, you kind of hear him coaching him on as Nip starting to spit them bars. As it's like the harder he spit, you hear Diddy in the back, don't stop. He doing it like that too on the mic. You know what I'm saying? Take that.
Hitting that Diddy bop.
Yeah, like a mother. But I like that though, because it's like we all done had those moments, especially me and you, especially on the basketball thing where you're doing something that your homeboys is in the back or your parents is in
Coaching
the
you
back,
on.
cheering you on to go like hard, or like if you like killing somebody on the court, you make a mean move and they tell you keep going because they want to see you do great. And so,
And I think that the project was probably already like finished. He brought Puff in and was just like, man, whatever you can add,
Yeah.
you know what
What
I'm
song you like? Jump on.
You know, like to me, you know, I don't want to say it's a perfect album because nothing's perfect, but if it ain't a 10 out of 10, it's a 9 out of 10 for sure.
it's
You mean you
definitely
got
just a pop in and play.
you got Kendrick
Yeah,
on
you gotta
there.
let the whole
You got
album
Kendrick
play,
on
though.
there. You got
gotta let the whole thing
YG on
play.
there. You got Dom Kennedy on there. So you got the the LA feel.
Yeah.
Like you said, you got Puffy on there. You got the Dream and CeeLo.
Yeah.
Whenever you got the
That's-
Dream,
that's-
you know what I'm
yeah.
saying.
That was big.
That's a dope collab.
He got another one with somebody on there
And
singing.
it Marsha Ambrose.
Marsha Ambrose.
Oh,
And I
God.
want to say that
Belly
that
on
one
that.
was produced. I want to say that one was produced by a couple couple local producers.
For real.
I want to say maybe Street Symphony, Kangaroo.
I know that. I know Street Symphony did something on the
I want
project.
to say that they had something to do with that.
Shout out to Street Symphony. Yeah.
Shout out to Success.
So what are some upcoming things that we can look forward to? Don't give them your,
Don't give them the game plan. Just tease them a little
Just,
bit.
give us a little something that we can look forward to that you have coming with King of Fresh.
Better product.
The quality already.
Yeah, the quality's gonna be way better.
I'm waiting on the first pair of King of Fresh trainers. I'm just putting that out there in the atmosphere.
As far as like sneakers,
Yeah, I'm just putting it out
well,
there.
it would be like some lifestyle sneakers.
Hey, listen, King of Fresh casual kits. I'm putting it out there in the atmosphere.
You dropped some sweats yet?
Not
What
yet.
did I miss?
Not yet.
So we don't have bottoms yet.
Not yet.
Not.
I'd rather
Not
have kick
yet.
first.
Yes.
I mean,
Two
like
keywords, not yet.
it's I mean, all four of us are different guys. We all wear different size jeans, sweatpants. I'm tall and skinny. I got a skinny waist, but I got some long legs. So what fits for me might not
Fit for
fit
Doug.
for him.
Yeah.
You know, what you wear? What size you usually wear? Extra large pants?
Well, 36.
I'm talking about like sweatpants, like Nike Tech pants.
Yeah, it depends.
So all
some
three of us
them
are like extra large.
Extra large, yeah.
I'm an extra small.
It's cool. King Fresh
All three of us are like extra larges, and so like we all three don't wear the same size.
Right.
And so when you get into like making bottoms, it's a lot more difficult than tops.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
We can't have people out here looking young, power
Right.
Extra socks. I've been hating that.
sagging, doing stuff to really fit. And so it's gonna happen soon, and that's kind of why we never dove into the jogger wave because
You gotta do your homework on the bottom.
It's not as easy as everybody.
Yeah, you gotta
Like
do
they
your homework on
shoes
the bottom.
See, a lot of people do they just buy stuff wholesale and just put their logo on and like.
And then disperse it.
That don't
Like
work.
let people buy it as they come.
Yeah, that was a big gem you just gave away too, because a lot of people don't really know.
Free game.
Yeah, free game.
Free game on it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't really know what goes into quote unquote having your own clothing line as opposed to actually creating your own thing.
And let's say that there is a start.
Yeah.
You gotta start somewhere.
Yeah, but you got some folks
And then
that
you
do it.
learn from your first purchase.
Yep.
Or see your next purchase. Like, okay, well
Absolutely.
next time I'm gonna do this different. Next time I'm gonna do this different.
Absolutely.
Now you make clothes.
Well,
Damn,
I mean,
God,
I have
man.
my own, my dance studio. I have my
This
merch.
is nice right here though.
Well, this right here is actually my homegirl's Queen BBW line.
BBW.
Yeah, so
Ooh.
beautiful black
Is that-
woman. It's beautiful black woman.
Is that?
That ain't what that
Is
stands
that what it really means?
No, that's what her line stands for. Beautiful Queen, beautiful black
Is that-
woman. So
Is that what it said for?
that's what her line stands for.
That's what hurt.
What she look like?
She's gorgeous, and
I'm
she's
saying.
big curvy.
Shout out Queen
curvaceous.
BBW.
So
Shout out
she got
Queen
a,
BBW.
so she got a double meaning.
She's,
Ooh.
curvaceous. So it's like basically a woman that,
Oh,
she
you
got
know,
a double
it-
meaning on
Queen
hers.
BBW can mean different things. But yeah, I shout out to Drizzle for giving us
Shout out Drizzle.
Drizzle, just
King
wonderful.
BBW. Queen.
I love her merch now. She got
This is
lots
a
of
nice
stuff
looking
now.
hoodie.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And it's very comfortable.
Is it thick or is it thin?
Yeah, I mean, feel on the inside. And y'all, I love to be cute and comfortable. If y'all
Yeah,
know
this is
me,
different.
y'all know I like
Did
to
you
be
crop
cute
it or
and
did it
comfortable.
come like
Yeah.
No, it
Come
came
crop.
like this. This is a cropped hoodie,
Okay.
And then it's not cheap. You can feel it inside. It's really nice. But back to King of Fresh stuff.
Hey.
Don't stay on topic.
How long do these usually last?
20, 30, 45. I don't know, man. I don't want to give anything away, but speaking of, since we have the queen here, is there any potential for a yeah? Is there
I
any
was going
potential
to ask, but I didn't know if I was
a
going to
queen of
overstep.
fresh?
You know what I mean?
line?
I
Or
mean,
has, I
And
want-
if you do, you
has the
let
idea
me know so I
has it
can
been discussed?
wear a couple things.
Okay.
You know.
Cool. Like we said, we don't like for our guests to give our audience the game plan
Mm-mm.
because
That's just kind of one of them things. It's just like.
It's been thought
That's
about.
gonna
Well,
be
it's kinda
asked
like
though.
that's like when,
With-
that's
with-
kind of like when Kendrick he do an interview and they like, man, you and J Cole are doing that album.
Mhm.
That's kind of one of them questions. Just like,
I thought about it.
yeah, we
You know,
thought
it's
about it.
been
If it
like-
happens, it happens.
I mean, it's been like presented so many times. Like my little sister just
Think
turned
about
9
Mm-hmm.
on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like, oh, all I want for my birthday
Is a
is you
kilo
can just do this for me, and I don't want anything but just this.
That's so
If
sweet.
you could just make me a Queen of Fresh shirt.
And that's inspiring too.
And I'm just like,
That's
first of all,
so
I'm like, man, if that's all you want, man, I can do that tomorrow. You know? But mean, it's just
Yeah, you really have to put the
timing is everything.
Bingo.
Like
Mm-hmm.
people don't realize, like Billionaire Boys Club, like they celebrate 10 years before they even did a BGC. You know, and I'm pretty sure Pharrell has so many people, so many young ladies like, oh, when you gonna do the Billionaire Girls Club?
Because like I ain't gonna lie, I will wear a King of Fresh, shirt
And
because
that's
that can
all
mean so
that we
many
need to
things.
hear is that
You
you
know what I'm
wear the
saying?
King of
That
Fresh
can mean
shirt.
so many things. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A woman can look at herself as a queen and have king.
What y'all
assets,
call
you feel me?
Beyonce?
Right.
I don't know what they call it.
King B, right?
I mean, I don't know.
You not a Beyonce fan?
I like her. I love Beyonce. Don't beat me up for y'all Beyonce Beehive people, but I don't know.
King, they call her King B.
I don't know what
so,
they call her. And that's what I'm saying. Like a woman can be a king as well.
Well,
Guess as we wrapping up.
we're gonna wrap this one up.
Excellent interview.
I appreciate it.
Once again, tuning in to
Social
Nathan
media
Jefferson.
tags.
Yep. Shout them out. Give
Go ahead,
them
first.
give everybody a tag.
Yeah, King of Fresh.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing special. Just straight King of Fresh. No underscores, periods, or anything.
That's on all social media, Twitter,
Yeah, Twitter, Instagram is just King of Fresh. The website's kingofresh.com. Me personally, JFields _ JFIELDS _ on Twitter and Instagram. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Man,
Make sure y'all follow.
Just follow.
y'all be good.